Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Let's get straight into this topic here. So, as you guys know, the Lakers are falling apart quickly in a way that I haven't seen a team fall apart in a very long time, especially given how they were playing just about a week or so ago and to what is happening now. Just about a week or so, the Lakers were firmly the number 3 seed in the Western Conference, and not firmly, but they were the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. And people thought that, hey, this team is going to be doing very well and blah, 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 blah. Who can they beat? You saw people like Nick Wright doing the King of the Hill, all of this nonsense, right? And then we got the devastating news that Luka Doncic is going to be hurt and going to miss 3 to 6 weeks because of a hamstring strain grade 2 or something like that. Then less than 48 hours after that news came out, we got the other news that Austin Reeves was going to be missing all of the rest of the regular season, right? And it came like an absolute, I mean, the Lakers got hit like a Mack truck. It was just pretty bad. And then last night, going into that game, we heard that LeBron basically was just miraculously got injured and his foot is hurting him again, right? But going into that game, we all knew the Lakers were going to lose. This wasn't going to be news. The question was, how were they going to lose? So when I tuned in to start the game, who did I see starting the game? Bronny James himself. And I already knew it was going to be a disaster from tip-off. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what it was. The Lakers ended up getting beaten by 36 points. And Bronny, who finally got a start, again, I think he started before, but I think he got some, I think he played starters minutes. He played 22 minutes in the game. And he was bad, man. He finished the game 2-9, 0-5 from the 3-point line, and he shoots a lot of threes for someone that can't make them. And he scored 4 points with a box plus minus of -25. And things got so bad during the game that there were even moments when JJ Redick was going at some of his players. And then even in the postgame interview, he even began to explain why he just went down the line of his roster and just started ripping each player to shreds. So what we want to do is we want to play some of what JJ Redick had to say during the postgame interview, and then we'll come back and continue on. Take a listen to JJ here ripping into his team.
You know, I just called the early timeout because Rui didn't do his job, and so took him out of the game. We got to find 9 guys that are like all in on us fighting.
What led to the exchange between you and Jared Vanderbilt early on in the second quarter?
Just the confluence of things. Again, it's nothing personal with him. Normal stuff from my end. I think for all of us, being undermanned and we've got to scrap and claw. We've got to all be on the same page. We got to be great teammates. We got to all play hard. Called a timeout to get him out of the game, and he reacted. But again, normal interaction for me.
What was he not doing in his shift then?
What was he not doing?
Yeah, to take him out. Like what?
Again, it was a confluence of things, Dan.
JJ, you mentioned on Saturday, the practice before the Dallas game, that you're going to ask DeAndre to do some different things. What are those things, and how do you think he's?
Yeah, he's had trouble catching the ball. So we've ran a bunch of plays for him. He's just had trouble catching the ball, and I don't know if that's the passing or if it's him trying to get position. He hasn't been able to catch the ball.
So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. If this is what the Lakers are going to be to end the season, it's over. If you look at the Western Conference standings now, they're now the number 5th seed. I mean, the 4th seed. They're tied with the same record for the 4th spot with the Houston Rockets at 50-29. But as you guys know, the Lakers have the season tiebreaker because they won most of the games that they played against Houston. But if you look at the Lakers' record now moving forward, they're going to be playing against the Warriors, who are desperate, and I think they're trying to make it into the play-in or ensure that they make it into the playoffs. They're the number 10 seed, so they're playing the Warriors next, and that's going to be a tough game. And Stephen Curry's back and doing Stephen Curry things. Then they're going to be playing against Phoenix, and Phoenix is already a playoff team, so to speak, but they're in the play-in, so they're not going to be wanting to give up any games as well. So Phoenix is going to play hard. And, of course, you have the Jazz, right? They're not playing for anything, and they're probably one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the Western Conference. No, they're the only other team worse than the Utah Jazz is, of course, the Sacramento Kings, right? So here's why I see this thing going. If you're telling me LeBron is going to miss the remaining of these games, the Lakers are going to lose all these games. I don't see any scenario in which they win. Now, in terms of Bronny, I think the more minutes Bronny plays and the more that he plays like this, the more he justifies those people that said he doesn't deserve to be a Laker. Mind you, LeBron, when he responded to the whole Memphis drama and all of that, he even brought up Bronny. He was like, yeah, and some people think that Bronny shouldn't be on the team. Well, at this point, it's not about what people think. It's really not. It's really about, does Bronny deserve to be there based on his play? It's not a thing for you to take offense to. You know, no one is saying this about any of the other players on the roster that they don't deserve to be there. Why are they saying it about this guy? That means that there's something out there that's showing that he may not be good enough. So these last few games is going to be a litmus test for him. I mean, that's just the fact. And eventually you got to throw him out there. I've seen players that various programs have developed, and you don't just do it by just leaving him in the G League. I give you a perfect example of this is someone that a team didn't give up on, and eventually he became a pretty good player. Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann, they used to play for the Los Angeles Clippers. He was a piece that the Clippers for a long time refused to let go of, and they had to play him over and over and over again. And then he slowly became a very good role player. He even played some big playoff minutes a number of years ago against the Utah Jazz. So we got to see him play. And for maybe the LeBron fans in the comments, why are you picking on Bronny? Bro, he's on the roster, man. Stop. Why y'all putting a diaper on this dude? Y'all, everybody else is NBA players. When it comes to Bronny, y'all call him a kid. I don't get it. He's not a kid. He makes more money than you and I a year. So why are you guys referring to him as a kid? He's a grown-ass man playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. And if you play poorly, I don't care who you are. You could be King Charles' son, King Charles III's son. I don't care. They're going to talk about you. Now, does the fact that he's LeBron's son make him an easy target? Yeah, but that's the same reason that a lot of guys are defending him, because he's LeBron's son. Right? But when you go out there and you're putting up numbers like that, I mean, if you looked at the game, you can clearly see that Bronny was the odd man out on the court. It was clear to see. He was the odd man out. He didn't really know. Now, in the G League, he looks very, very good. But that's the G League. That's why I was always like, these people, when they lose, Bronny lighting up the G League. I'm like, all right, great. Even last night, you saw various social media accounts posting that Bronny put up a dunk. I'm like, can we be serious here for a second? The Lakers got blown out and you guys are posting dunks. You guys are part of the problem. Y'all promoting someone that doesn't deserve the promotion. He's just basically being promoted off of the strength of his dad's name. And if I'm him, I'm like, yo, stop posting me, bro. Y'all making me look worse out here. Like, if it was me, I don't even want to be on the same team with my pops. That's just me, though. I don't even want to be on the same team with you, because people already looking at me funny style, like, yo, why is he in the league? Why is he here? So for me to be on the same team with you makes it look worse. Makes it look like, nah, I'm running behind. No, we're not doing none of that. Send me somewhere else. Let me go earn my own chops. Let me go out here and make a name for myself. That's just me. And a lot of people will feel that way. Like, nah, like, cool, you got me in the league. Let me just go find my way throughout the league. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. But I'm going to do that on my own steam. I don't need Pops to be hovering over me like Batman in the animated series. I don't need you to be doing that. But again, that's just me and some people. While other people, man, like, and then the part that kills me is that when you call them, oh, what are you saying? Like, yo, knock it off. Do y'all need to go work at like a daycare or something? Knock it off. We're talking sports here. Granted, we're not fans of LeBron James, but still, it makes it even worse. It makes it even worse. So if Son plays bad, they're going to talk about it the same way y'all talk about everybody else. I'm confused. Y'all spent an entire year roasting Russell Westbrook, who's going to the Hall of Fame, dude that averaged triple doubles for multiple seasons, but then somebody that's actually not a good player, we can't call him out because who he's related to. If y'all don't get the hell up out of my face with that goofy, you know what, like, knock it off, man. Knock it off. Pull down your skirt or pull up your whatever, pull up your panties or whatever the hell it is, and get the hell out of my comment section with that, man. Like, if you play like ass, you're getting called out, regardless of who you are. That's been the standard. No one is exempt. And if you feel a kind of way about it, feel a kind of way about it. So as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith is out here beefing with Matt Barnes, right? Because it started off with the LeBron comments, as you guys know, that he made about Memphis, and then Stephen A. Smith went and talked about, oh, it doesn't look good as a black man. You know, he did that whole nonsense, right? Then Matt Barnes put out a video responding to Stephen A. Smith, right? And everyone has kind of jumped in here and there. But something interesting happened, which was Marcellus Wiley, friend to the channel, although he hasn't been on the channel for a minute, he did a reaction video to this story, right? And as you guys know, Marcellus Wiley knows all of these people. He knows Matt Barnes. He knows Stephen A. Smith. He knows all the people that we're talking about here. All these people, he knows them, right? And he's also worked on TV. He has he knows he's somebody that's in the know when it comes to this stuff. So anyway, he was reacting to Stephen A. Smith's rant at Matt Barnes, right? And as he's reacting to it, you could see that Marcellus is beginning to get kind of like he was starting to grow impatient with Stephen A. Smith. And then at one point, he just snapped and just basically called this dude a sensitive clown that feels like people need to come kiss the ring every time they want to say something about him. He was like, yo, bro, knock it off, man. What is this? So what we want to do is want to play the video of Marcellus Wiley roasting and toasting Stephen A. Smith, and I loved it. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this here.
What I don't get, though, you're rooting for him, okay. Look, I'm not a part of this world, this culture where I'm calling you to talk about you. I'm not. I don't call you to talk about you when I say good stuff. I'm not calling you to talk to you when I say bad stuff. I'm going to say your name, and then I'm going to think that whatever I said should be good enough for you to accept, or maybe you and your feelings. Whatever it is, dog, I'm not going there. And if I go there, then you don't even need to call me because you know what it is. So what are we talking about? All these dudes that want to get their nails done together and talk about like, oh, did you give me a heads up? No. What did I say? I said I disagree with you, ABC. You and your feelings for that, and your job is literally to talk about people all day, every day, and then somebody say one thing about you. You got all the issues in the world, and you want all the smoke? Stephen, hey, you can't have it all those ways. Sensitive. It ain't even about sensitive. It's just, I don't care if you're sensitive or not, because I'm sensitive. I cry at movies. I don't give a damn. It ain't sensitive. It's silly. It's like, dog, do not blow up my phone. I am a grown-ass man with kids and family. I don't need to be talking to you. Hey, dog, what you mean by that? Did you listen? Well, no, I'm just saying what you really trying to say. What I said. Whoa. And trust me, this is why I keep some things tucked away. There's 3 prominent people who they know who they are, and there's a reason why they stay arm's length. Calling me up, oh, what's up? I got voicemails. I'm like, man, if you don't get your nails done by yourself, leave me alone.
To have your own opinions, this is a conversation about respect. Matt Barnes, you know that on my worst day, I would never talk about you like that. Not in a million goddamn years.
What did he say? Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel you. It really, Matt didn't say, I didn't hear the tap dancing part. Maybe I didn't see that whole video. I'm sorry, Stephen A, if I didn't. But he did say you calling out all these black women, Serena, Kamala Harris, and Jasmine Crockett. And what you doing damage to the black community, you worrying about what LeBron's doing to the black community, which obviously is it's just going to scratch the scab of what Max Kellerman and T.O. and Stephen A. Smith went through. So I understand the sensitivity to this one. He trampolining on that scar that ain't going to never heal. I hear you.
Not in a million years. You know that. Why? How? Because I've had ample opportunity to do so, and I never have.
The thinly veiled threat. That's what we do in these relationships. You know that. Hey, you know what I could do to you, but I didn't. But I could. But I let it be.
Not in your entire career. I've always looked out. I've always big upped. I've always had nothing but profound respect for you. And I got to see you on social media popping shit about me like that.
That's the part. That's the part. Tell me, because I could be callous. I could be emotionless. And then I wake up and be like, oh, man, you didn't really put your heart into that. I don't know what it is. I have seen people talk bad about me on social media. D.L. Hughley, Ryan Clark, countless others. But those are the ones that really kind of gave it some repetition and quantity. Okay. I will respond, but it's not like, oh, how dare you? How dare you disagree with me? How dare you don't give me the courtesy and I knew D.L. Hughley. I used to see him all the time. I knew Ryan Clark. Why didn't y'all call me? They didn't want to. Ain't the answer in the action? Like, what? Is Stephen A. think he the Godfather? Like, people go, hey, Stephen A., hey, I really want to talk about you, but I need your permission. Like, what? What?
So you heard what Marcellus had to say. Now, here's my takeaway from this. I think the reason most people tolerate Stephen A. Smith is because he's at the top of the game. But if you look at Stephen A. Smith, some be acting like a bozo. Like, can we just be for real for it? He acts like a bozo. Stephen A. Smith acts like an egomaniac. I've said it, and I'm not a LeBron fan whatsoever, but he was 100% right when he said it. When he went on the Pat McAfee show, and he said, oh, he's going to be sitting in his tidy whities, and like, he wasn't lying. He loves the attention. For as much as he complains about people talking about him, he loves it because it gives him an opportunity to respond. Is it every single thing that is said about you you're going to respond to? You want to run for president and you have this kind of temperament? He's even getting upset with Knicks players because they say he's not a real fan. It's like Stephen A. Smith has this like inability to let things roll off his shoulder. He's always responding to stuff, always talking about stuff. And the part about him, oh, why didn't you call me? Maybe he ain't feel like calling you. And number one. Number two, why would he call you privately when all of these comments you've been making publicly? Maybe he has something he wanted to get off his chest to the public. Maybe it wasn't for you. And to me, if there's no truth in what Matt Barnes is saying, why are you reacting so desperately to it? You could just there are things people can say about you that you know it's not true. You just let it roll off your shoulder like, yo, bro, all right, whatever, man. Whatever, dog, you got it. Whatever, dog, you got it. You got it. But the fact is, Stephen A. responds to everybody that is a celebrity or some athlete or someone that's known as in public eye, he's going to respond to. And you don't get to dictate the rules, bro. You don't get to dictate how it goes down. You don't. You be going at people too. Do you call them everybody before you go at them? No, you know you don't. You know you don't. So why he got to call you? Why he got to call? What's all of this sensitivity? It's like you can talk about people, but then you can't take the fact that you're being talked about. Which is, and I think Marcellus brought up this point at a certain point in the show. I think he did at the beginning. You guys can go watch it on his channel. He brought up the part about LeBron. LeBron knows it's part of the game. He's at the top of the food chain in terms of the NBA. So it's only inevitable that they're going to talk about him. But the fact that they talk about him also keeps his name in the news. He gets how that works. You can't tell me that, oh, people are using me for clicks and views and this and that. Bro, that's how it's a symbiotic relationship. Do you want no one to say anything about you then? Because that can also be detrimental to your brand. If no one people can just ignore you then. People don't have to talk about you. People don't have to acknowledge you. Or do you mean that you only want positive things said about you? If that's what you believe, then go live in Narnia. Because that's where you have your dreams come true. This is reality. But LeBron gets that, and he doesn't respond to but Stephen, so you want to be the man at the top, and you don't want nobody to talk about you. Come on, man. Like, can we be for real here? Can we just knock it off with this nonsense? And that's what he's basically calling this dude a sensitive bozo. And it's a fact. Every little thing, everything that's said, he ready to do a response video. Stephen A. has responded he's responded to everybody. Everybody. He's responded to Marcellus Wiley, Jason Whitlock, D.L. Hughley, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, LeBron James, anyone you can think of, he's responded to them. And he's always hot, upset about, oh, why you gonna say this? Oh, why you gonna say, come on, bro. And Marcellus pointed it out again. The thing that's really hurting you is what he said about the buck dancing. That's the part, because he said it goes back to that old scar, that wound that refuses to heal, which was the wound that Terrell Owens opened up on ESPN for. That's what he's talking. That's why he's so sensitive about this stuff. So let's get straight into this video here today, man. LeBron James is something else, bro. This guy is something else. We did a show early this week when we got the news that Austin Reeves was going to be out, and we were making fun of LeBron that the Beach Boys finally got the last laugh on him. And I said during that live, just don't be surprised if all of a sudden LeBron James gets injured. A mystery injury just pops up out of nowhere, and guess what happens? Guess what happened? That is exactly what happened. This dude ran from the smoke, bro. LeBron went into protective custody last night. And then what made it worse is that he showed up and sat on the bench. I mean, this is crazy work. While his team that is trying to hold on to the 3 seed in the Western Conference, trying to hold on to seeds in the West, is tumbling down the standings. If you look at the Lakers standings right now, they're currently the number 4 seed in the Western Conference. They've lost 3 in a row because they just lost by 36 points to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now you have a situation where there's a very good chance that they may continue to tumble down the standings, which means that they're either going to end up playing Houston in round 1 or Denver in round 1. If I'm the Lakers, I am doing everything in my power to avoid playing Denver if the Lakers play Denver in round 1, they are going to get swept. They will get swept. If the Lakers couldn't handle the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, with Luka and Reeves on the roster, there's nothing they can do with the Denver Nuggets, because historically they have not been able to answer. They've not had an answer for Nikola. They just haven't. In the last 2 playoff series, I think they played Denver 2 or 3 times. They've only won, I think, 1 game in 8 tries against Denver in the playoffs. Now, they were able to beat them miraculously with that tip-in shot or whatever it is that Austin Reeves had, that miraculous shot, but that's not going to happen again. And then to make matters worse, the Lakers played so bad that at various points in the game, JJ Redick was ripping into his players, and then after the game started roasting he went down the line and was like, he's trash, he's ass, he's assified, he stinks, he's dirty. It was just crazy. So for those of y'all who didn't see JJ flaming up his guys, want to play that for you now, and then we'll come back and continue on with this roast. Take a listen to that there.
I just called the early timeout because Rui didn't do his job, and so took him out of the game. We've got to find 9 guys that are all in on us fighting.
What led to the exchange between you and Jared Vanderbilt early on in the second quarter?
Just the confluence of things. Again, it's nothing personal with him. Normal stuff from my end. I think for all of us, being undermanned, and we've got to scrap and claw. We've got to all be on the same page. We got to be great teammates. We got to all play hard. Called a timeout to get him out of the game, and he reacted. But again, normal interaction for me.
What was he not doing in his shift then?
What was he not doing?
Yeah, to take him out.
Again, it was a confluence of things, Dan.
JJ, you mentioned on Saturday, the practice before the Dallas game, that you're going to ask DeAndre to do some different things. What are those things, and how do you think he's?
Yeah, he's had trouble catching the ball. So we've ran a bunch of plays for him. He's just had trouble catching the ball, and I don't know if that's the passing or if it's him trying to get position. He hasn't been able to catch the ball.
So you heard that there. So here's the joke of this all. This looks like LeBron is ducking the smoke. This looks like LeBron James is ducking the. There's no other way to characterize it. It looks like he looked at the situation. He knew that this thing wouldn't look good, and he just ran. Because if you look at that game with him playing in Dallas against the Dallas Mavericks, he looked good. He looked very good. I think he even dunked a few times. He looked very good. And then for out of nowhere, we just get this phantom toe injury against a team that had beaten you previously by, I think, 43 points. And then you all of a sudden pull this one. That was a bad look. That, like, I don't care how you say it, slice it. That is a bad look. And I know his fans are going to be like, well, you know, what do you expect from him? Even the LeBron fans know that they're lying at this point. They know that they're not serious anymore by saying that. They know that. They know that that excuse is ridiculous. Do you know why? Because it was the same LeBron fans that have been attacking Jordan for all of these years when he was 39-40. They held Jordan. They didn't factor in Jordan's age. But now when it comes to their guy, all of a sudden, oh, man, you got to look at his age and you got to look at his age. That's what they're doing. It's not a good look, guys. It doesn't look. It looked like he ran from the smoke, especially given the fact that they didn't look like it was a clear injury. This absence looked calculated. It looked like something they looked at and said, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this no more. I don't. Now, here's the funniest part about it all. You can run now, but you can't run forever. Let me repeat that. You can run now because the Lakers, they're not going to fall any lower than the 5th seed. They're not going to fall any lower. So what does that mean? That means that all of that running you've been doing, eventually you're going to have to come back outside. You're going to have to come back outside and face either Houston or Denver. And I'm telling you now, if the Lakers play Denver in round 1, it's a wrap. That's the one team I would go out of my way to avoid playing. You don't want to play Denver. You don't want to play Denver because it has been proven historically that they have no answer for Denver. I think the last 2 times they faced Denver in the playoffs, they've only beaten them 1 time. I want y'all to think about that. Imagine playing against a team in the playoffs 2 times on 2 separate occasions, and you're only able to get 1 win. One win. That's a team you avoid at all costs. Now, if the Lakers had all of their horses, and you're telling me that they were going to be playing, for instance, Houston in round 1, that I would say, yeah, okay, they got a chance to beat Houston. Some people would even pick them to beat Houston, given the fact how well they've been playing against Houston to close out the season. And Houston doesn't even have a point guard because Fred VanVleet has been out. But if you're talking about this iteration of guys to play against Houston, where like you have scenarios where Bronny's starting, bro, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. And I don't want to hear anything about LeBron doesn't have help. I don't want to hear he doesn't have help. Do you know why? Because I didn't hear this when Michael Jordan was playing with the Wizards. When you guys try to travel, when Jordan make the playoffs, what all NBA caliber players was Michael Jordan playing with? Who were they? What were the top 75 players of he was playing with none of these guys. But y'all didn't factor that in. So I'm sorry. I don't care that you feel like LeBron doesn't have help. I don't care. Tough. Figure it out. You guys say he to go, then do it. If he's better than Michael Jordan, as you guys like to say, then he doesn't need help. Let him do what Michael Jordan did. Win without help. How about that? I don't want to hear nothing about his age because MJ was old too in 2003. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If y'all say he the GOAT, then show me, let him do what Michael Jordan couldn't do. Let him get out the first round. He ain't got to worry about making the playoffs because he's not the reason they're in the playoffs. That was already accomplished by Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. So you ain't got to worry about that. What I'm saying is now you lead this team out of the first round. Do what Michael Jordan couldn't do. Since Michael Jordan was so ass at 40, and we clearly know he didn't have great players around him, then LeBron do it. Let's see it. Basically, I was just searching for a quick story here, and I came across a story from fadeawayworld.net, and it's had the following headline. It says, Mike Miller claims LeBron James LeBron James was gaining weight during playoff games. He doesn't sweat. It's not real. He is not real. He continues on. LeBron James has built a career of defying logic, but a recent story from his former teammate, Mike Miller, adds another layer to that reputation. Speaking on Barstool Sports podcast, Miller described a moment during the time the Miami Heat that still sounds unreal. So what we want to do is I want to play this video from Mike Miller here. I want you guys to take a listen to it, and then we'll come back and continue on with the what he had to say.
The story is that LeBron would gain weight during games. He'd weigh in before and then afterwards.
Yeah, I'll
which
tell you a
sounds
crazy story. We did weight body fat in Miami. This is game, God, I want to say it's 6, at home against Indiana in the playoffs. So he does his weight body fat. And he weighed in that day before the game at like 267 maybe. He goes and plays. That's an overtime game, I'm almost positive, and he has ridiculous numbers. And he don't use a towel, man. Like when you watch him on the bench, he's got like these little wipes. He like don't sweat, doesn't do anything. Plays, I think 40, like almost 50 minutes because it's an overtime game. He weighed like 6 pounds heavier.
That's crazy.
After the game, and that's why like he's a test tube baby. He's not real.
Yeah, that isn't real.
Good. So you heard what he had to say. Now I want to read the description. It says, one of the more bizarre conspiracy theories floating around NBA circles involves LeBron James and the claim that he somehow gains weight during the course of a game. The theory stems from an observation by fans and amateur analysts who noticed that LeBron appears noticeably larger, more bloated or heavier in the second half of games compared to the first, leading some to speculate that he was consuming some kind of weight-gaining substance at halftime to bulk up and become harder to move in the post. Some versions of this conspiracy pointed to his halftime snacks or drinks, with people claiming he was downing protein shakes, calorie foods, or even some kind of experimental supplement that caused temporary water retention or muscle swelling. Others took it further, suggesting that it was a deliberate physical strategy that by adding even a few pounds mid-game, he could create more of a movable force in the paint and on drives, making defenders bounce off of him much easier in crunch time. Of course, this is physiologically implausible in any meaningful way. The human body simply doesn't gain functional weight that quickly, and any calories consumed at halftime would be burned off almost immediately given the intensity of an NBA game. The more likely explanation, as sports scientists have pointed out, is a combination of factors. LeBron's body naturally swells up as his muscles engorge with blood as the game progresses. What the hell? What? That even makes sense to you? But anyway, let's continue. His jersey may stretch or fit differently as he sweats. And camera angles at different points in a broadcast can dramatically alter how his frame appears. But the internet being the internet, the conspiracy took on a life of his own, spawning Reddit threads, YouTube breakdowns, and Twitter debates, and treated grainy halftime footage as a smoking gun evidence of some weight gain manipulation plot, which honestly say, and then it goes on to say a few other things. So before we go into that, okay, I think it's important that we bring up something here, which is there's a respectable NBA reporter. You've seen him on TV a number of times, and he has pointed out something that we did a show about. And Rick Bucher said this, and we're going to play the sound for you, that everyone in the NBA community, this is what Rick Bucher said, this is not what I said, knows that LeBron is using something. Not my comments. That's what Rick Bucher himself said. So what we want to do is we're going to play Rick Bucher's comments that he had on his podcast not too long ago, of actually from last June, and then we'll come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Rick Bucher's comments here.
He can be disciplined in developing his skills and his shooting and all of that. But his out may be, but I want to eat and drink what I want. If he cared enough about what he ate and drank to treat his body like a temple, I would think he would have been doing it a long time ago, because he's already felt the repercussions of not doing so. And if he looked at LeBron and thought, man, he holds the secret. He could have pursued that a long time ago. He didn't need to be a teammate to have that realization if he was going to have it. It's one of the more annoying aspects, I'd say, of the idolatry of LeBron, that he is credited by some as being this sensei that has the answer to all things basketball and that everybody is going to him for the answers. Now, we know for a fact that guys did that with Kobe. I don't know of anybody who has said, yes, I sought out LeBron to find out his secrets. I certainly, look, I appreciate LeBron for what he's done. I just don't make the assumption that everyone wants to be him. And there's also the nagging question about exactly how he's maintained such extraordinary fitness at such a ripe age. Now, whether there's any basis for the speculation, and I think you all know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to voice it because I don't have the means of backing it up. But we all know what the speculation is out there. And I can assure you there's plenty of it privately by players and personnel in the league. Like, I've always thought, maybe it could be. And I've had players and coaches say things to me like they take it for granted. They assume it's true. It always catches me a little off guard. They're just like, oh, yeah, that's going on. And look, and it could be jealousy. It could be just wild speculation or gossip, being presented as fact but it's there. And even regardless, it takes a great deal of dedication and discipline to do what LeBron has done with his conditioning all these years, even if he's getting some sort of boost.
So you heard what Rick Bucher had to say. I actually did a little bit of research, and I asked the following question. I said, "Can steroids cause weight gain?" And the person and the thing said yes. I don't know some of these words. Cortisic steroids or whatever, such as prednisone, you guys know them, cause weight gain, especially with higher doses and longer treatment durations. Weight gain occurs due to increased appetite, fluid retention, and fat redistribution to the face, back, and neck and abdomen. Key things: steroids often stimulate intense hunger, causing increased calorie intake, fluid retention. And then it went on to say a few other things there. Look, we don't have any definitive proof, but we do know that this is something that has been said by a lot of NBA players. You know a guy named Jeff Teague? Do you remember that? What about Shaq? What about Kevin Garnett? This is something that people have openly joked about. Then you have insiders in the NBA saying, like Rick Bucher that we just played the sound for you, saying that it's a known fact that that's what's happening here. We have the instance when Dan Le Batard tried to bring it up on his show, and he was attacked by all of the rest of his panelists. How dare you ask a question like this? He's like, this doesn't make any sense. Physically, this doesn't make any sense. Then you look at the fact, for instance, when Paul George did that 360 windmill and then he was immediately drug tested. LeBron is dunking up and down the court. Have you heard him being tested for anything? No. So you look at that and you look at the fact that he's 40 years old and he's moving in a way that no other player at his age has been able to move. And of course, people that have a brain cell will be like, well, how is this possible? Even people like Tracy McGrady has said, I hope whatever he's doing it the right way. He's not cheating the game or something like that. So this isn't something that we started. This is just a story we're reacting to, and they posted about it. But there are a lot of people that have questions about this. And that didn't stop people from speculating about Barry Bonds and all of that other stuff. But I guess LeBron is off target. We get why he's off target. He's a moneymaker, cash machine for the NBA, Nike and all of that. So I get it. But it doesn't mean that people are not asking this question. It doesn't mean that you're a conspiracy theorist if you're asking this. If you see your 70-year-old granddad just doing things that a 70-year-old shouldn't do, you should ask some questions, right? And a lot of NBA players have worked pretty hard to keep their careers in tip-top shape. And to tell me the answer is sleep, come on, man, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow there.